Hi, let me show you how I fix my big screw up. Hi, I'm Bill Babcock with Expert Amateur. So I fixed my screw up, sort of. The rack that I made for putting panels, solar panels on my container were way too heavy. That was the biggest problem. They were just way too heavy to move. And they didn't work. I couldn't hold the accuracy necessary to use the method I planned to use to hold the solar panels in place. So I cut the rack up, or I should say I didn't really cut it up completely. I cut the ribs of the rack off of the center beam. The center beam is the heavy part. I way overspec the steel for that. So I cut those off the beam with my Sawzall. A really fun job. And then I was trying to decide, okay, how am I going to weld these back onto? What am I going to weld these back onto? Should I cut the thing up completely and just use it as raw material? But what I realized was what I really need is I need a 2x4 center channel, and I had 2x2s on the outside edge. So I just flipped one upside down, welded them together, and put the pivot mounts, which are chunks of plate steel that are made for a 2x4 deep hole. And of course, that 2x4 pivot mount slipped right over the now 2x4 made by stacking two 2x2s. This is getting a little complicated. If I'm losing it, you're probably losing it too. But anyway, I've got some pictures of it, but I flipped it over, welded them together back using the pivots. I'm going to ultimately take the entire thing I built yesterday, flip it upside down, and add a unistrut to it to hold the panels down. And the unistrut is 12 gauge, and I can weld it directly to the ribs and use that to stiffen everything up. So it's a pretty good solution. As a matter of fact, it's a really good solution. What I wind up with is 10-foot long sections, because that's how I chose to cut it up. 10-foot long sections with a lot of reinforcement from the pivots themselves. So I need to get somebody today to help me lift this thing, because it's not that light. It's a heck of a lot lighter than it was, but it's still pretty hefty. I did a time lapse video of doing this fix, which is kind of funny, unless you were the one that had to do all the work. I wish it only took a minute, because that's how long the time lapse is. And here you go.